Fuck! What's doing? Anyway, hello everyone. Thanks for joining me on another one of those Monday afternoons on the way home rides. I try to do these little lives every so often, and my God, this weekend was absolutely atrocious in terms of what Trump was doing. I mean, he was disrespectful to just about everybody. He's disrespectful to the Pope, a billion of Catholics. He's disrespectful to, well, everyone. He's just a pig. And he's endangering the lives of Americans and other people around the world because he is a little petulant child. He's behaving like a crazy toddler with a gun. So, let's see what what my audience thinks. How many people are still favoring Trump? How many people are still voting for a guy who's got 34 felonies, or I should say cheering on for a guy who's got 34 felonies, convicted felonies, as a sexual offense against him, and started a war where he promised not to start anymore, he promised to finish wars, but he started a new war to appease Netanyahu. And obviously our prices at the gas pump went up. Just fueled my car, $4 a gallon for regular. The consumer price index in March jumped up, especially on food again. So food is becoming more expensive again. It's going to become even more expensive with the prolonged gas prices. Obviously, we're spending money like idiots on military efforts, unnecessary, unneeded military efforts, again, because Netanyahu told them to do that. And there's still freaking like 20% of people, they're like, you go Trump. It's like, what are you cheering exactly? Like, your own ignorance? I don't get that. I don't get that. If you're a Trump supporter, explain to me, what is it that you actually, what is the benefit that you're seeing from Trump's presidency so far? Because I see zero benefit. I see none. I mean, if you're stuck in your own little hometown, red town USA, and you're never going to leave your little small town USA ever, and you're just going to go to the same church, same store, same everything, I'm sure the only things that you may notice is that the food is costing a little bit more, and your healthcare is costing a lot more recently, right? So, what's the positive? I mean, the little hoorah, Trump is the man, is that the only positive? I mean, The man, he's not even a man. He's an old guy who's senile, who needs to go into memory care center. That's what he needs to do. And again, he's posting his little AI videos. He's enraging people around the world. And there's idiots that are still cheering him on. And yes, I'm calling you idiots because it's just like you either absolutely have no clue what's going on in the world, or you're just like him, like a racist, misogynist, xenophobe. I mean, he is all that. He's absolutely all that. And you cheer that on with the excuse, oh, I voted for his economic policy. Which one? Which economic policy are we benefiting from right now? Which one? There isn't one economic policy that we're benefiting from. But hey, you got your Trump. You got that little idiot running around the world causing trouble for everyone, including our own country. I don't get it. I just don't get it. But my personal opinion is that he should be impeached immediately. He should be impeached for the little post that he did where he tried to say that he wants to annihilate the entire culture. That is an impeachable offense. No American president should ever say that. That's not a normal behavior. That's psychotic, crazy behavior. I don't know. That's just psychotic. I just don't get it. And the whole thing with him, with the little AI thing, looking like Jesus and healing a man. The guy who wants to take away your health care, your Medicare, all your benefits, is cosplaying Jesus that's going to help somebody. Kind of. I mean, you got to be a special kind of stupid to believe in that. I mean, literally. This is like far beyond, and you know what, and there's no use or point in me preaching to the crowd, to the MAGA crowd, because they are beyond fixing. They're beyond realization that Trump is a convict, that Trump is absolutely no good for the country or the world, yet somehow in their brains and their minds, they have fixated on this guy, and they can't seem to shake it off. It's like he's holding a special magical power over them. And they're without hope. Without him, they see no hope how tomorrow's going to be. There's no tomorrow without Trump. Well, Trump is 80 years old. He's got a few more years left, and after that, he's dead. And I'm pretty sure none of you are going to be listening to Donald Trump Jr., the little coke addict, or his little brother, Eric. Maybe Ivanka's going to step up to the plate? Yeah, right. She don't give a shit. Her husband got $2 billion from the Saudis. They're set. They don't care. They're probably going to concentrate on selling more crypto and investing in more freaking companies that the dad tells him to invest before he does shit. So insider trading. And that kind of shady shit you guys still support. I don't get it. Like, you're not seeing any benefit from it. I guarantee you, 95% of MAGA is losing money right now. Yet they're cheering the guy who's taking their money. He's selling you stupid Bibles. He's selling you dumb shoes. He's selling you a copy of the Constitution that you can download for free. He's selling you the Trump watch that is so cheap that the T falls off of the Trump, so it's called the Rump watch. And then I don't know how many of you invested in his mobile cellular service company that failed. Well, that hasn't even sold one phone yet. It's been out for a year. They haven't even sold a phone yet. The guy who bankrupted a casino and a vodka company. That's your freaking genius. That's your Lord and genius savior. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. But we're gonna make a pit stop at my house for a second here because I gotta set dinner in the oven and I gotta go to the train station to pick up my daughter. So that's what we're doing right now. For a moment here. Bum, 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 bum. Alright. Clean screen because it's dirty. Boom. Alright. Yep, so we gotta set dinner. The oven. Bake. Let's see, 400. Let's see, let's take a look at here what's going on here. It's 400 set. Let's dinner is in here. Let's get this out. Boom. Shakalaka. And let's set timer for 60 minutes. And we'll be back. All right, let's go. Where's my keys? All right. And we're back. All right, dinner set. Let's go do the next thing. Anyway, as I was saying earlier, or a few minutes ago, yeah, it's time to impeach Trump. He's caused enough grief and pain in the world. I don't care if you love him, like him, if you think he's the greatest thing since sliced cheese, he is actually no good for the world. And I don't honestly, you've got to be brainwashed to continue to support this guy. Completely brainwashed, because there's there's no other way. No other way. Let's see, checking my messages while I have a second here. And the statistics here. Looks like 56% of people that joined my live said yes to impeach Trump, and then the rest said no. Really? Still? Come on. That guy should be gone. What I'm always curious about is the people who are in favor of Trump. Like, why do you like that guy? Like, I get these stupid answers like, oh, he's the greatest president ever. It's like, no, it's not. That's not even close. But like, what's the actual answer? Like, why do you like Trump? Like, what is it specifically about him? Because I can tell exactly what I don't like about him. There's just 100 different things I hate about him. But like people are like, well, I like him because of his economic policy, right? Okay. So which economic policy? Which policy have we so far benefited from? Like, which policy directly has added to our pockets? Because right now, he's added so much more to the. Oh yeah, gas is $4.19 right now over here at this gas station. $4.20 almost. $4.19.9. So yeah, $4.19 for regular. So yeah, that's definitely not adding to my pocket. Definitely not adding to my pocket, actually taking away from my pocket. And our kids' pockets as well. Because he's stealing our kids' money, because if he keeps putting us in so much debt, that essentially means that our kids are going to be paying off this debt. They're going to be stuck in this debt. And other countries are using the debt to manipulate us, right? They're going to use the debt that Trump is putting on our, because somebody's got to buy this debt, right? You cannot just put this debt away and it's just going to be, not counted. It's going to disappear. Someone has to purchase that debt, right? Someone has to hold that debt as a collateral. And I know Japan has more of our debt than any other country, and they can shut our economy down by controlling our debt. And yet he keeps adding to our debt and our deficit both. He keeps spending money on war, which is not doing anything for us. Doesn't make us look any better in the eyes of the world, and also doesn't bring any money to us. Like literally, it brings no money. His tariffs have failed, right? We have no money from the tariffs. Nobody. How many of you have seen a check from Doge? How many of you have seen a check from the tariffs that both were promised, right? I wasn't expecting one, and I didn't get one, so I really don't care. But how many of you MAGA are now mad at Donald Trump because you didn't get your Doge check and you didn't get your tariffs check, right? How many? I'm curious. Is everybody happy with not getting your $1,700 or $1,500 or $5,000 check, whatever he promised? I'm curious. If you're MAGA and you're out there, yeah, did you get your check? You didn't get your check, did you? I didn't think so. No one got a check. You know who got the check? You know who got the check is his friends. His friends who were betting on these little, on the little new monopoly of betting on world events and on stock market and benefiting from Trump's insider trading secrets. Those are the only people who are benefiting from this. Because Trump, he hates his base. He doesn't want to have anything to do with his base. Guys, you're nowhere near his level. Well, of wealth anyway. But yet, there's still people who are like, yeah, I love Trump. Like, really? Like, for what? At this point, it must be like Stockholm Syndrome, where you identify with your kidnapper, your abuser, and you think that they're the greatest thing since the sliced cheese. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Nothing else. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Let's see, 58% yes. So that means what? How many? 42% said no. Interesting. We got 59 votes. So there's still a lot of MAGA folk that are not. I don't know what they're thinking. No idea. But drop a comment here. Let me know what you're thinking. What is your thought process where you think that Donald Trump should remain the president of the United States? Because I cannot find one good reason for it. Well, other than the fact that maybe if we remove Trump, then J.D. Vance going to take over, and obviously Vance is just completely unqualified for any position that he's holding. But yeah, let's see. Better than sliced cheese. Okay. I don't know. I personally think cubed cheese is much better. A little cube cheese, cubes of cheese with grapes and crackers, a little tray. But I mean, everybody's got their own taste. Sure, maybe a little bit of American cheese on a hamburger, but yeah, I can do the hamburger without cheese. So, but again, better than sliced cheese doesn't tell me anything why you like Trump. It doesn't say anything. So, if you want to expand on that, tell us exactly what economic policy, for example, has helped you since Trump took over. I'm very curious because there's always, like I said, there's always people who are like, yeah, go Trump, this and that, but like they can't name one thing. And what's frustrating is that the people who are supporting Trump, they are essentially, they don't understand how tariffs work, right? They have no clue how tariffs work. Yet they support a guy who keeps taking money away from them, even because that's what tariffs do. They take your money away. That they don't bring any money to you. They bring money to the government in form of you paying more for goods and services and paying an extra, essentially, tax on goods and services that are imported to the country. It's not another country. I sincerely hope that there's no MAGA people out there that still think that China's paying tariffs or Japan is paying tariffs or some other country's paying tariffs, because that is just dumb. Like, right, tariffs is something that we pay. It's a tax that we pay because there's an extra cost to import goods to the country, right? So the whole idea of tariffs was tried in the 1920s, and we had the Great Depression. So I'm not sure if anybody learned their lesson. Well, obviously MAGAs burn books, so they prefer burning books than reading them. So obviously, yeah. But for the rest of us that are book readers, we understand that tariffs do not work, and tariffs actually work against us in every sense, because it would be nice, okay, if we had tariffs, but at the same time we would have tax breaks for the companies that produce stuff here, right? Or perhaps we could have some sort of a initiative where the companies that are making our stuff here would be subsidized by the government to kind of level the playing field, right? Because the only way for companies to make stuff cheaper is to pay workers less. And at the end of the day, do you want our workers to get paid less for producing our own stuff here in America? So manufacturing, is a hub, is a very important part of American economy, but you have to be able to pay your workers livable wage, because if you don't, then these workers are still going to be dependent on the government for something else. If it's not healthcare, then it's heating credit or something else, right? Just like the auto industry. Auto industry back, I spent a little bit of time in the auto industry in the late 90s, in my late teenage years. And there were some people in the auto plants that used to make so much money they would have their house paid off, paid for their kids' college, have a boat, and 3 or 4 cars in the driveway, and they had money in the savings, right? They were set, essentially, because Chrysler, Ford, and GM were paying top dollar working on the line. It was a low-skill job, high-paid job. The fact that you were in a union helped, right? And now, they have the 2-tier or 3-tier or how many ever tier system, where if you haven't worked for a auto company for X amount of years, you get paid at a lower tier, and then with time you can make more money, but it's nowhere equivalent to what it used to be, right? When you were like a skilled tradesman at the Ford, Chrysler, or GM, and you worked overtime, I knew some people that would make freaking so much money that they would stop paying into Social Security, right, by March, which means they made like close to, at that point, what was it, $90,000? So these guys would make in excess of $200,000+ a year working for Chrysler, GM, working on a line, working as electricians, working as, pipe fitters or whoever. And we don't have that anymore. So if we want to go back, and if you want to do tariffs, you also have to do something to encourage here, to encourage manufacturing here. And you can't encourage manufacturing here by taking away healthcare, by making the food more expensive. Because so what if you got a $3 raise and now you have no tax on overtime, on the 0.5 of the overtime? It doesn't matter if you worked 100 hours of overtime, and let's say you were making $10, now you're making 15. You're only paying the no tax on overtime is only on the $5 of the 15 you're making on overtime. So you're still not, there is a little bit of tax break, but so what? Food got more expensive, gasoline got more expensive, housing got more expensive. So all that money, where'd it go? went back right into the economy, right back into the store, right back into the tax system. So you didn't actually save any money. Sure, the stock market went up a little bit, but stock market traditionally goes up a little bit, and it usually goes up a lot better overall on the Democrats than it does on the Republicans. And like I said, my biggest thing is, if we want to invest in American workers, we need to invest in early childhood education as well, so that these workers can take their kids and put them in a daycare center if they need to work, and not worry about. That's another thing. Daycare centers are so expensive these days. I mean, literally, it will cost you $24,000 to $30,000 a year for a kid to go to a daycare center. So how are you supposed to? How are you supposed to have kids, right? There's some doctor came out on Fox News, and he was complaining that the childbirth rates of females between 15 and 19 have dropped 74% since 2007. I said that's good. That's what it's supposed to do. We're not supposed to have teenage pregnancy. The entire thing here is to reduce teenage pregnancy. And this guy's complaining that teenagers are not getting pregnant? I mean, that's totally MAGA. That's like fucking MAGA, fucking Republican nonsense for teenagers to get pregnant. That's what you guys do. That's your people. And 15-year-old pregnancy, that's called raping a 15-year-old. Well, except like in Alabama, Kentucky, and Tennessee, where those, like, I don't know, the threshold for consensual sex is freaking a lot lower than that, and especially for marriage. One of those states is a marriage as young as 12. It's fucking pedophilia state. But yeah, but terrorists didn't work because you don't have support at home, and they will never work because the administration is simply too incompetent to do anything about actual problems here at home. You got Trump, you got an idiot like Trump, who doesn't listen to anybody, right? He surrounds himself with people who only kiss his ass and tell him how great he is. And it only takes literally for somebody to say one time, hey, Mr. President, you know what? I think this is wrong. I think we're gonna be worse off when this happens. And what does he do? He gets rid of them. And what happens? Exactly what they say. We're far worse off than what we were before. And that's going to continue. It's going to continue until we get rid of this guy, until we impeach him. Because I don't know if I can take 3 more years of this nonsense. But if we could only wash the brains that have been brainwashed by Trump and make him see the world as it is, not as he tells them how it is. Maybe there's sanity for us left. I don't know. But as you can tell, I'm wearing scrubs, so I work in healthcare, and I can tell you that healthcare is going to get a lot more expensive pretty soon, and it's going to get a lot worse and a lot less accessible than what it used to be. It's already happening. And especially true for people with pre-existing conditions. So all your diabetics, all your blood pressure people, I'm taking blood pressure pills. Luckily, they're still about $10 a month, which is not too bad. But all the people with chronic conditions, you're gonna see problems pretty soon. Far greater problems that you see now. Because Trump. I think this whole Trump experiment, where you let the least competent run the country for a while and see what happens, I think we've already seen exactly what's happening. So I don't think we need to run the experiment for any longer. I think the experiment needs to come to an end, because obviously it hasn't been beneficial for us. So, but anyway, let's see how we doing. 56%, 44%. So 56% think that Trump should be impeached, and 44% are still under the spell of Donald Trump, and they have no idea what's going on in the world. Interesting. But anyway, I'm going to say goodbye because I'm getting flustered and not getting anywhere. So thank you for joining me. Let's do it again some other day. And if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to my craziness, and we can do it again another day.